A sentence can feel false before it becomes familiar. You may hear words about safety, support, worth, or having enough, and something inside you may tighten immediately. Instead of relief, you feel resistance. Instead of hope, you hear an inner voice saying, "This is not true for me." You may wonder whether repeating a kinder thought is dishonest when your past seems to provide so much evidence for the opposite. That reaction does not mean you are failing. It means you have reached the edge of what your mind has practiced believing. The uncomfortable feeling is not always proof that a new sentence is false. Sometimes it is only proof that the sentence is unfamiliar. Your nervous system may confuse familiar with true because familiar has been repeated for years. An old idea can feel honest only because you have heard it in your own mind thousands of times. A new idea can feel dishonest only because it has not yet been given the same repetition, attention, and lived support. You are not required to force yourself to declare something that feels impossible. You are not required to shout over your own doubt. You are not required to pretend that every difficulty has disappeared. Healing begins with enough honesty to say, "Part of me does not believe this yet, and I am willing to understand why." That sentence creates room. It does not argue with your experience. It does not erase what happened. It does not demand instant confidence. It gives you a place to stand between the old story and the life you are learning to build. Many people abandon affirmations at this exact point. They speak a strong sentence once or twice, feel the old discomfort rise, and conclude that the practice is not working. They assume the resistance means they should stop. Yet resistance often appears because the new words have touched something real. They have touched an old rule. They have approached a protected place. They have entered a room in the mind where certain conclusions have been stored for a very long time. The old rule may sound like, "There is never enough." It may sound like, "People like us must always struggle." It may say, "Wanting more makes you selfish." It may warn, "If you become successful, others will resent you." It may insist, "You must work until you are exhausted before you deserve comfort." It may whisper, "Support cannot be trusted." It may tell you that asking for fair compensation is greedy. It may tell you that spending anything on yourself is irresponsible. It may tell you that peace is temporary and another emergency is always approaching. These sentences may never have been spoken to you in exactly these words. Some lessons arrive without a formal announcement. They are learned through tone, tension, silence, and repetition. They are absorbed from what people do when a bill arrives, how adults speak after an unexpected expense, how joy changes when the subject of cost enters the room, and how quickly hope is corrected by caution. A child does not study these moments like a researcher. A child feels them. A child watches a face become worried. A child hears an argument through a wall. A child sees a parent return something they needed. A child learns which requests create tension. A child notices when one adult controls every purchase. A child senses when help from another person comes with shame. A child remembers being told that something is too expensive, even when the deeper issue is fear, uncertainty, or exhaustion. A child often turns an event into a rule. The rule may become, my needs cause problems. The rule may become, it is safer not to ask. The rule may become, good things are for other people. The rule may become, having more will separate me from those I love. The rule may become, I must stay small to stay accepted. Years later, the child has grown, but the rule may still be operating. You may be capable, intelligent, hardworking, and deeply responsible, yet find yourself checking your balance with a held breath. Before the numbers even appear, your body may prepare for bad news. The screen loads and your chest tightens. Your mind begins solving problems that have not happened. You may immediately calculate what could go wrong, what must be delayed, and what you should deny yourself next. Even when the amount is enough for the present moment, the old alarm may continue. The alarm was not trained to measure the present accurately. It was trained to search for danger. You may receive payment and feel relief for only a few minutes before your mind begins assigning every part of it to future pressure. You may be unable to experience the simple steadiness of being supported today because your attention has already traveled into 10 imagined emergencies. You may call this responsibility. Part of it may be responsible planning. Another part may be an old fear, refusing to let your body rest. There is a difference between and looking clearly at your obligations and living as though danger is already in the room. There is a difference between planning for the future and sacrificing every present moment to it. There is a difference between being thoughtful and expecting loss so constantly that support cannot be felt even when it is here. You may work hard and still feel uncomfortable naming a fair price. You may prepare carefully, offer genuine value, and then reduce your fee before anyone has objected. You may explain too much, apologize for the cost, add extra work without being asked, or create discounts that leave you resentful later. You may believe you are being kind. Beneath the kindness, there may be a fear that asking for fair exchange will cause rejection. You may think, if I make this easy enough for everyone else, they will not leave. You may think, if I ask for less, nobody can accuse me of wanting too much. You may think, if I over-deliver, I will finally feel worthy of what I am paid. Yet the feeling of worth does not usually arrive through endless proving. Endless proving teaches the mind that worth must remain under review. You may have learned to connect exhaustion with goodness. The more tired you are, the more deserving you feel. The more you sacrifice, the safer your success seems. The more you give away, the less guilty you feel about having anything. Rest may then feel suspicious. Ease may feel undeserved. A task completed without struggle may seem less valuable than one that depleted you. You may distrust any opportunity that does not require suffering because you were taught, directly or indirectly, that struggle is what makes a result honorable. You may delay sending an invoice. You may avoid following up on a late payment. You may hesitate to apply for a position that would pay more. You may stay silent when responsibilities increase, but compensation does not. You may tell yourself that the timing is not right, that you should wait until you are more prepared, more experienced, more certain, or more impressive. Preparation can be wise. Sometimes preparation also becomes a hiding place. The old story can make you believe that readiness is always one achievement away. You complete the course, yet you need another qualification. You gain experience, yet decide it does not count. Someone praises your work, yet you focus on the one part that could be improved. You see another person asking confidently for what you are afraid to request, and you assume they possess an inner certainty that you lack. They may not. They may only be acting while uncertainty is present. You may have been waiting for fear to disappear before you take a respectful step forward. Fear often becomes quieter after the step, not before it. The pattern may also appear after ordinary spending. You buy something useful, and a wave of guilt follows. The purchase may fit within your plan. It may support your health, work, comfort, home, or daily life. Still, an inner voice asks whether you truly needed it. You review the decision repeatedly. You imagine what else could have gone wrong. You mentally punish yourself for not choosing the cheapest option. The guilt may have little to do with the actual purchase. It may be an old loyalty. You may have watched someone you loved go without. Enjoying what they could not have may feel like betrayal. Choosing quality may feel like abandoning the values of your family. Comfort may awaken memories of people who carried heavy burdens without complaint. Part of you may believe that remaining deprived is a way of staying close to them. Love does not require you to recreate another person's hardship. Respect does not require you to inherit every fear. Gratitude does not require lifelong self-denial. You can honor what earlier generations survived without treating survival as the highest condition you are permitted to know. You can remember their courage while learning steadiness. You can value their sacrifices while refusing to sacrifice yourself unnecessarily. You can carry forward their strength without carrying every warning. Some of the old habits may look generous from the outside. You may deflect help whenever it is offered. Someone wants to support you, recommend you, introduce you, share information, or make a task easier, and your first response is, "I do not want to be a burden." You may decline before considering whether the support is appropriate. You may insist on doing everything alone, even while feeling exhausted and unseen. Independence can be healthy, automatic refusal can be fear wearing the clothes of strength. You may have learned that help always creates debt. You may expect hidden conditions. You may believe accepting anything will give another person power over you. You may have seen generosity used as control, so your system now treats every offer as a possible trap. That caution may once have protected you. You can thank it without letting it govern every new relationship. Discernment asks, is this support respectful, clear, and appropriate? Fear declares, no support is safe. Discernment observes the present. Fear repeats the past. You are learning the difference. You may also feel uncomfortable when someone gives you a compliment about your work, judgment, discipline, creativity, or progress. Instead of letting the words land, you correct them. You explain why the result was not very difficult. You point out what remains unfinished. You mention the people who are more accomplished. You turn appreciation away before it can settle. Praise may feel dangerous because it raises expectations. Praise may feel undeserved because you remember every mistake. Praise may feel disloyal because you were taught not to think too highly of yourself. You may believe humility requires you to reject an accurate reflection of your effort. Humility does not require self-erasure. You can recognize your growth without declaring yourself superior. You can accept appreciation without becoming dependent on it. You can let a good word enter without immediately sending it back. The same pattern may shape your relationship with joy. You may postpone enjoyment until everything is settled. You tell yourself that you will rest when the work is complete. Feel secure when every uncertainty is resolved. Celebrate when the next goal is reached. Or buy the small thing you have wanted when the future becomes perfectly predictable. The future does not become perfectly predictable. There is always another task, another responsibility, another possibility to prepare for. If joy requires the permanent absence of uncertainty, joy will be delayed indefinitely. You may have become skilled at moving the finish line. You reach one level of stability, and the old story says it is not enough. You build a small reserve, and the old story immediately imagines an expense larger than the reserve. You meet an obligation, and the old story begins rehearsing the next one. You receive an opportunity, and the old story lists every reason it could disappear. You make progress, and the old story calls it temporary. This is how an old emotional rule survives changing circumstances. The outer facts can improve while the inner conclusion remains untouched. A person can have more support than before and still feel unsupported. A person can earn more than before and remain afraid to use any of it. A person can become highly skilled and continue undercharging. A person can be surrounded by helpful people and still refuse every offer. A person can create stability and remain mentally prepared for collapse. This is why the work is not only about numbers. Numbers matter. Plans matter. Clear decisions matter. Practical skill matters. The inner story also matters because it shapes how you interpret all of these things. It influences what you see, what you dismiss, what you pursue, what you avoid, what you ask for, and what you believe is possible to learn. You may recognize yourself in one pattern and not another. There is no need to force a complete diagnosis. There is no need to search your past for a dramatic event. Some patterns were formed through small moments repeated often. A sigh, a worried glance, a phrase spoken at dinner, a request refused without explanation, a season when everyone was tense, a rule that made sense in one household but became limiting in another stage of life. Your old conclusions were attempts to create safety with the understanding you had then. This is important. You were not foolish for learning them. You were not weak for carrying them. You were not defective because your body remembered. A young mind prefers a painful rule to no explanation at all. A rule creates predictability. If you conclude, I should not ask for much, then you believe you can prevent disappointment. If you conclude, I must work harder than everyone else, then you believe you can prevent criticism. If you conclude, I cannot trust support, then you believe you can prevent betrayal. The rule offers control. The cost appears later. The cost may be constant tension. The cost may be opportunities you do not approach. The cost may be resentment from giving beyond your capacity. The cost may be a life organized around avoiding disapproval. The cost may be difficulty recognizing enough. The cost may be the inability to enjoy what your effort has already made possible. You do not have to shame yourself for paying that cost. Shame does not create freedom. Awareness does. Compassion does. Honest practice does. A new response, repeated in real situations, does. You may still hear the old voice after you begin changing. It may become louder for a while. This does not mean the old story is becoming stronger. It may mean you are finally hearing what once operated automatically. Before awareness, the voice was the background. After awareness, you can identify it. You can say, this thought is familiar, but it is not a command. You can say, this fear belongs to an earlier lesson. You can say, I understand why my mind expects difficulty. You can say, I do not have to make every decision from that expectation. This is where affirmations become more honest. They are not used to cover fear with bright language. They are used to practice a different direction. A useful sentence does not have to describe your final destination as though you have already arrived. It can describe the relationship you are building. It can name the quality you are strengthening. It can acknowledge that trust is growing through choices, not through denial. Instead of forcing, I feel completely secure, you may begin with, I am learning to create more steadiness in the way I respond. Instead of declaring, I never worry, you may begin with, I can meet concern without surrendering every peaceful moment. Instead of claiming, "I always know what to do," you may begin with, "I can pause, gather information, and choose my next responsible step." Instead of insisting, "I deserve everything I want," you may begin with, "My needs are worthy of respectful consideration." A bridge sentence tells the truth about movement. It does not demand perfection. It lets your mind participate. It respects the distance between the old expectation and the new practice. You may feel a small release when the words become believable enough. Not complete certainty, not dramatic transformation, a slight reduction in resistance. A moment in which your body does not argue quite as strongly. That moment matters. Change often enters through an opening that seems ordinary. A small pause before you criticize yourself. A single question before you refuse help. One calm breath before checking the numbers. One respectful message asking for clarification. One decision to stop apologizing for a fair boundary. One purchase reviewed by facts rather than guilt. One evening in which you let yourself enjoy what is already handled. The old pattern was built through repetition. The new pattern also needs repetition. This does not make the process artificial. Repetition is how the mind learns almost everything. You learned language by hearing sounds repeatedly. You learned routines through practice. You learned which roads lead home by traveling them many times. You learned the old emotional rules through repeated experience. You can learn another route. The new route becomes more available each time you use it. At first, the old road may remain easier. Your mind travels there quickly because it knows every turn. It knows how to predict, prepare, contract, apologize, delay, and deny. The new road may feel slow. You must choose it consciously. You may miss the turn and return to the old route. You may recognize what happened only afterward. Recognition afterward is still progress. Then recognition may come during the pattern. Later, it may come before the pattern fully begins. You may check your balance, feel the familiar tightening, and remember to breathe before interpreting. You may prepare to lower your price and pause long enough to ask whether the original amount is fair. You may begin refusing support and decide to ask one clear question first. You may feel guilt after a responsible purchase and choose not to hold an inner trial for the rest of the day. You may hear yourself saying, "I will enjoy life when everything settles," and remember that life is happening while things are still being arranged. These are not small victories. They are the places where an inherited rule loses authority. You may still feel the old emotion. Freedom is not always the immediate absence of that emotion. Freedom can be the ability to feel it without obeying it. You can feel discomfort and keep your fair price. You can feel uncertainty and accept appropriate help. You can feel guilt and still let a reasonable choice remain made. You can feel fear and take one practical step. You can feel unready and ask for the information you need. You can hear the old sentence and answer with a new one. The answer does not need to be aggressive. It can be steady. The old voice may say, "Do not get comfortable." You can answer, I can be responsible without living in constant alarm. The old voice may say, do not ask for too much. You can answer, I can ask clearly, and let the other person respond. The old voice may say, you must do everything alone. You can answer, I can evaluate support without rejecting it automatically. The old voice may say, you have not earned rest. You can answer, rest supports the person who makes the decisions. The old voice may say, something will go wrong. You can answer, if a difficulty appears, I can meet it with the resources available then. These responses are not fantasies. They are mature alternatives to automatic fear. They return you to the present. They remind you that the adult you are now has capacities the child did not have. You can gather information. You can set boundaries. You can learn. You can ask for help. You can change your plan. You can seek qualified guidance. You can say no. You can wait before agreeing. You can repair a mistake. You can make another choice. The younger part of you may not know this yet. It may still expect every problem to be overwhelming. It may still believe one wrong decision will lead to disaster. It may still fear that another person's disappointment means love is at risk. It may still assume that safety depends on being easy, quiet, useful, undemanding, and endlessly prepared. You do not have to attack this younger part. You can update it. You can say, we have more choices now. You can say, we can look at the facts. You can say, we do not have to decide from panic. You can say, we can ask questions before assuming. You can say, we can care for others without abandoning ourselves. You can say, we can be cautious without closing every door. This is not childish work. It is responsible inner leadership. The strongest part of you is not the part that never feels afraid. It is the part that can meet fear without handing it complete authority. It is the part that listens, checks the present, and chooses with dignity. You are not replacing caution with recklessness. You are replacing automatic caution with conscious judgment. You are not replacing planning with wishful thinking. You are making planning less punishing. You are not replacing real action with pleasant words. You are using words to support the kind of action that fear once made harder. A calmer mind can read details more clearly. A steadier body can remain present during an important conversation. A more respectful inner voice can help you recover from a mistake without collapsing into shame. A person who believes learning is possible is more likely to ask for guidance. A person who no longer connects worth with exhaustion may build better limits. A person who can receive appreciation may become more accurate about their own ability. A person who can tolerate temporary discomfort may make decisions that support the longer term. The new story will not be proven only by what you repeat when you are alone. It will be strengthened by what you do when the old pattern appears. The moment you keep a boundary, the moment you open the email instead of avoiding it, the moment you request the information, the moment you ask what something costs without assuming you cannot manage it, the moment you look at your plan without insulting yourself, the moment you admit that a past choice was not ideal and begin correcting it, the moment you let today's facts be more important than yesterday's fear. Each moment teaches. Each response leaves a trace. Each trace makes the next choice more available. You do not have to feel completely different before living a little differently. You do not have to believe every new sentence fully before practicing the behavior it supports. You only need enough willingness to stop treating the old feeling as the final truth. The feeling may say, "This is dangerous." You can ask, is it dangerous now, or is it unfamiliar? The feeling may say, "This is selfish." You can ask, is it selfish, or is it a respectful limit? The feeling may say, "This will upset someone." You can ask, can another person be disappointed while I remain kind and clear? The feeling may say, "You cannot handle what comes next." You can ask, what is one step I can handle today? The feeling may say, "You should already know how." You can answer, "Learning is not failure." The feeling may say, "You are behind." You can answer, "I am beginning from where I truly am." These questions create space between emotion and conclusion. In that space, a different life begins to become possible, not a life without responsibility, a life with less inherited fear inside responsibility, not a life where every desire is fulfilled, a life where desire is not automatically treated as danger, not a life where mistakes never happen, a life where a mistake does not become evidence that you are unworthy, not a life where support is guaranteed, a life where appropriate support is not rejected before it can be considered, not a life of constant certainty, a life where uncertainty does not erase your dignity. You may still be skeptical. Let skepticism sit beside you without becoming the leader. You do not need to convince every part of yourself today. You are beginning by becoming curious about what has been running automatically. Curiosity is less threatening than force. Curiosity asks, "Where did I learn this?" Curiosity asks, "Does this rule still protect me?" Curiosity asks, "What does it cost me now?" Curiosity asks, "What would a more balanced response sound like?" Curiosity asks, "What small action would support that response?" There is kindness in these questions. There is also power. An old story survives when it is never examined. It gains authority from invisibility. Once you can hear it clearly, you can decide whether it deserves to continue shaping your choices. Some parts of it may contain useful wisdom. You may value preparation. You may value modesty. You may value generosity. You may value careful use of resources. You do not have to reject these values. You can free them from fear. Preparation without panic, modesty without self-erasure, generosity without self-abandonment, care without constant deprivation, responsibility without punishment. These are balanced forms of what you may already value deeply. You are not becoming someone careless or disconnected from your roots. You are becoming more able to choose what deserves to continue. The past gave you lessons. You can keep the wisdom. You can release the alarm. You can keep resilience. You can release the expectation of endless struggle. You can keep care for others. You can release the habit of making yourself last. You can keep respect for effort. You can release the belief that suffering is required. You can keep gratitude. You can release guilt. This is how a new inner foundation begins. Not through denial, through selection, not through blame, through understanding, not through one dramatic declaration, through many quiet moments of truth. The first truth is this: the feeling that says a kinder sentence is a lie may be repeating an older sentence you never consciously chose. The second truth is this: you do not have to believe the kinder sentence perfectly to begin practicing it. The third truth is this: you can build trust with yourself by taking small actions that match the new direction. You can pause, you can listen, you can question, you can choose, you can begin again. The old feeling may still speak. It no longer has to speak alone. Long before you could explain what security meant, your body was already studying it. You learned from the atmosphere around you. You learned from what happened when the subject of cost entered a room. You learned from how quickly voices changed. You learned from which requests were welcomed and which ones created strain. You learned from what adults said openly and from what they tried not to say at all. A child does not separate practical difficulty from personal meaning. When the household is tense, the child may assume the tension says something about them. When an adult is worried, the child may decide that their needs are part of the problem. When something cannot be afforded, the child may hear more than a temporary limit. They may hear wanting is dangerous, asking causes pain, there will never be enough. This is how an experience becomes an inner law. The law is often formed quietly. A parent may say, "We cannot afford that," while carrying their own fear, fatigue, or embarrassment. The sentence may be practical and true in that moment. Yet a young mind may not hear, "This is not available right now." It may hear, "Good things are not for us." An adult may say, "Do you think resources grow on trees?" They may mean, "I am overwhelmed and trying to manage many demands." A child may hear, "Your desire is foolish." A caregiver may compare prices carefully and feel anxious while shopping. A child may conclude that every purchase must be approached with dread. Someone may repeatedly warn that rich people are selfish, dishonest, lucky, or disconnected from ordinary life. A child may decide that being accepted and becoming successful cannot coexist. Someone may praise sacrifice so strongly that rest begins to feel immoral. Someone may admire people who work through pain, never ask for help, and give until nothing remains. A child may absorb the idea that love must be proven through depletion. None of this requires a cruel family. Many limiting rules are passed through loving people who were trying to protect one another. They may have lived through instability. They may have known hunger, Debbie, T, displacement, loss, discrimination, low wages, sudden illness, failed harvests, interrupted education, or responsibilities that arrived too early. They may have learned caution because caution kept the household functioning. They may have learned not to trust good seasons because good seasons ended unexpectedly. They may have learned to save every useful object, refuse unnecessary comfort, avoid risk, and prepare for the worst. Their rules may have been shaped by real conditions. They may have handed those rules to you because they believed the rules would keep you safe. Understanding this removes the need to make someone a villain. It also removes the need to keep every rule. A response can be understandable and still be outdated. A lesson can contain wisdom and still be too narrow for the life you are living now. A family rule can protect one generation and restrict the next. You can recognize the love inside the warning without continuing to organize your life around the warning. You can say, "This protected them then." You can also say, "I need a wider response now." You are not disrespecting your family by examining what you inherited. You are becoming responsible for what continues through you. There may have been phrases you heard so often that they became part of the background. We are not made of money. Do not get your hopes up. People like us have to work twice as hard. You cannot trust anyone when resources are involved. Never let people know what you have. Keep something hidden for the bad days. Do not ask for more than you are given. Be grateful for anything, even if it is unfair. Better to take less than lose the opportunity. You must prove yourself before you can expect respect. These statements may have carried survival knowledge. Some may still contain useful caution, yet when repeated without context, they can become rigid commands. A child cannot easily ask, "Is this always true?" A child cannot compare the rule with other households, other histories, or other ways of living. A child often accepts the emotional certainty of the adults around them. Even contradiction can become a lesson. You may have heard that resources were scarce while watching an adult make impulsive decisions. You may have been told to be careful while seeing secrecy and confusion. You may have heard that everyone must contribute while one person controlled every choice. When words and behavior conflict, a child often trusts the emotional pattern. They learn that planning is unpredictable. They learn that discussions create conflict. They learn that no amount is truly safe. They learn that control belongs to the loudest person. They learn that honesty may bring punishment. They learn that the subject itself is dangerous. Later, this can make practical conversations unusually difficult. You may avoid asking a partner about shared responsibilities because your body remembers that such conversations lead to blame. You may become defensive when someone asks a simple question, because questions once carried accusation. You may hide a mistake because mistakes were treated as character flaws. You may postpone looking at statements or bills because opening them recreates an old atmosphere of dread. You may feel ashamed for not knowing something you were never taught. You may believe everyone else understands naturally while you are the only one confused. Practical knowledge is learned. No child is born knowing how to plan, compare, negotiate, save, organize records, understand contracts, ask about terms, or make long-range decisions. Some people are taught these skills calmly. Others are taught through fear. Some are not taught at all. A lack of early guidance is not a personal defect. It is a gap that can be addressed. You are permitted to learn slowly. You are permitted to ask basic questions. You are permitted to seek reliable information. You are permitted to admit that a subject makes you anxious while still becoming more capable with it. Shame says, you should already know. Growth says, you can learn now. There may also have been class messages hidden inside ordinary conversation. You may have heard people judged for having too much or too little. You may have heard success described as arrogance. You may have heard struggle described as virtue. You may have seen relatives distance themselves from someone who changed their circumstances. You may have learned that belonging required sameness. A young person may then make a silent promise. I will never become so different that I am no longer loved. That promise can shape choices for years. You may pull back when progress becomes visible. You may create delays when an opportunity could move you into unfamiliar territory. You may minimize your achievements around family. You may feel guilty when your daily life becomes easier than the lives of people you care about. You may offer support beyond what is sustainable because success seems to create an endless obligation. You may remain attached to difficulty because difficulty feels like membership. This does not mean you do not want change. It means part of you may fear what change could cost emotionally. The fear deserves a respectful answer. You do not have to abandon people to grow. You do not have to become cold to create stability. You do not have to prove loyalty through repeated struggle. You can remain loving while making different choices. You can share without destroying your own foundation. You can care without taking responsibility for every adult's life. You can become more secure and still remember where you came from. True belonging does not require you to remain in pain. There may be grief in recognizing this. You may realize how young you were when you first became worried. You may remember counting what was left in the kitchen. You may remember knowing which day a payment was due. You may remember trying not to ask for school supplies, new shoes, transportation, medicine, or a small pleasure. You may remember becoming useful so that your needs would be easier to tolerate. You may have taken on emotional responsibility long before you had the power to change the situation. A child who senses strain may become watchful. They may track every mood. They may offer to go without. They may become exceptionally well behaved. They may try to solve adult problems with childish resources. They may think, if I am easy enough, the house will be calmer. That strategy can continue into adulthood. You may pride yourself on needing very little. You may avoid stating preferences. You may say anything is fine when it is not. You may accept inconvenient arrangements because asking for adjustment feels demanding. You may feel safer being the helper than the person who needs help. You may attract relationships in which your flexibility is expected but rarely returned. The pattern began as care. It may now require care of a different kind. You can appreciate the child who tried to protect everyone. You can tell that child the responsibility was too large. You can say you were never the cause of the pressure. You can say your needs were not the problem. You can say you were worthy of care even when the adults were worried. You can say you do not have to earn safety by disappearing. These words do not rewrite history. They change the meaning you continue carrying from it. There is an important difference between what happened and what you concluded. Something may have been unavailable. You may have concluded that you were undeserving. An adult may have been overwhelmed. You may have concluded that your needs were excessive. The household may have faced instability. You may have concluded that stability was impossible. Someone may have misused power. You may have concluded that every form of support would eventually control you. A painful experience may have been real. The conclusion may still be open to revision. This is one of the most freeing forms of honesty. You do not have to deny the event to question the rule. You can say, yes, that happened. You can also say, it does not define every future situation. You can say, yes, there were times when asking led to disappointment. You can also say, I can learn where and how to ask now. You can say, yes, people I trusted made harmful choices. You can also say, I can strengthen discernment instead of closing completely. You can say, yes, uncertainty affected my family. You can also say, I can build skill, support, and steadiness over time. The past becomes less controlling when it is placed in context. Without context, the mind treats an old event as a universal rule. With context, you can see when it happened, who was involved, what resources were missing, what pressures were present, and what choices are available to you now. Context restores proportio. A childhood memory can feel enormous because you were small inside it. The adult you are now can stand beside that memory with more language, more perspective, and more options. You can say the fear was real. You can say the conclusion was not the whole truth. You may not remember one clear origin. Many people do not. Your pattern may have been shaped by hundreds of ordinary moments rather than one dramatic scene. It may have entered through culture, religion, neighborhood expectations, school experiences, media, workplace norms, or the repeated stories adults told about who gets ahead and who does not. A teacher may have embarrassed you for lacking something. A friend may have excluded you because you could not participate. A relative may have compared you with someone from a wealthier household. You may have learned to hide the condition of your home. You may have worn something old and felt exposed. You may have seen social status decide who was respected. You may have watched people with fewer resources treated as though they were less intelligent, less disciplined, or less worthy. These experiences can create powerful associations. You may connect having less with humiliation. You may then pursue achievement with constant fear rather than healthy purpose. You may connect having more with superiority. You may then reject your own ambition to remain morally safe. You may swing between these two fears. You may work relentlessly to avoid being judged, then feel guilty when your effort produces results. You may long for ease and distrust it at the same time. You may want recognition and feel exposed when it arrives. You may want to be supported and resent needing anyone. Contradiction does not mean you are insincere. It means different parts of you learned different lessons. One part says, "Become secure so nobody can shame us again." Another says, "Do not become too visible or people will reject us." One part says, "Accept the opportunity." Another says, "Success brings pressure." One part says, "Rest." Another says, "Rest is dangerous because something may be missed." One part says, "Ask for help." Another says, "Help creates obligation." These inner arguments can consume enormous energy. You may call yourself indecisive. You may actually be trying to satisfy rules that cannot all be obeyed at once. The solution is not to attack the conflicting parts. The solution is to understand what each one is protecting. The part that pushes you may be protecting you from shame. The part that holds you back may be protecting you from rejection. The part that controls every detail may be protecting you from surprise. The part that avoids looking may be protecting you from panic. The part that gives too much may be protecting you from guilt. The part that refuses support may be protecting you from dependence. Protection becomes more flexible when it is recognized. You can say, "I understand what you are trying to be." Revent. You can then ask, "Is there a safer and more balanced way to care for this need now?" The mind often softens when it is no longer treated as the enemy. An old response was created for a reason. You are giving it a new assignment. Instead of preventing all uncertainty, it can help you prepare thoughtfully. Instead of preventing all disappointment, it can help you communicate clearly. Instead of preventing all dependence, it can help you choose trustworthy support. Instead of preventing every mistake, it can help you review choices and learn. Instead of preventing anyone's disapproval, it can help you remain respectful while honoring your limits. This is how inner change becomes practical. You are not removing every protective instinct. You are teaching protection to work with the present. There may also be inherited silence. Some families never discussed resources openly. Children were expected not to ask. Adults made decisions behind closed doors. Numbers were hidden. Problems were revealed only during a crisis. This can teach the mind that information itself is threatening. Later, you may avoid clarity because clarity feels like the beginning of bad news. You may prefer vague hope to exact knowledge. You may wait until pressure becomes urgent before looking closely. You may fear that a number has the power to define your worth. A number can describe one condition. It cannot describe your whole character. A balance can show what is available in an account. It cannot measure your intelligence, courage, generosity, creativity, or capacity to learn. A bill can describe an obligation. It cannot declare you a failure. A past mistake can show where a decision had consequences. It cannot prove that you are incapable of making better decisions now. Clarity may be uncomfortable. Clarity is also useful. You do not have to approach it all at once. You can take one piece of information at a time. You can sit with someone qualified. You can write down questions before a conversation. You can ask for an explanation in plain language. You can pause before signing or agreeing. You can create a small routine for reviewing what needs attention. Calm is not required before beginning. Calm can grow through repeated contact with what was once avoided. This is where inner support and practical support meet. Affirmations can help you reduce shame, speak to yourself with more respect, and remain present while learning. They can help you challenge the idea that difficulty makes you unworthy. They can help you practice a steadier response. They are not a substitute for professional, financial, legal, tax, debt, or investment guidance. They do not remove the need for planning. They do not guarantee a particular outcome. They do not erase real economic pressure. When the situation is serious, practical steps matter. Reliable information matters. Qualified guidance matters. Clear agreements matter. Support from appropriate services may matter. There is dignity in seeking help. There is wisdom in using tools. There is strength in admitting that a problem requires more than positive language. Mindset work walks beside action. It does not replace it. This honesty makes the practice safer and stronger. You are not being asked to pretend that external conditions are irrelevant. Housing costs are real. Caregiving responsibilities are real. Job instability is real. Low wages are real. Unexpected expenses are real. Debt stress is real. Access to opportunity is not equal. A person can make thoughtful choices and still face pressure. Compassion requires room for these facts. The purpose of changing the inner story is not to blame you for circumstances beyond your control. It is to reduce the additional suffering created by shame, paralysis, self-attack, and inherited fear. You may not control every condition. You can strengthen the way you meet the conditions before you. You can become more willing to look. more willing to ask, more willing to learn, more willing to set a limit, more willing to recover after a setback, more willing to separate a temporary difficulty from your identity, more willing to believe that support can be sought without humiliation. That is meaningful change. It may begin quietly. You may open a document you have avoided. You may schedule a conversation. You may write down what you know and what you need to find out. You may stop calling yourself irresponsible and begin examining the actual pattern. You may decide that one old family phrase no longer deserves to direct you. You may realize that fear has been speaking in the voice of someone you love. You may hear the voice with tenderness. You may still choose differently. You can say, I understand why they believed this. You can say, I understand why I absorbed it. You can say, I am permitted to update it. The update does not have to insult the past. It can build upon what the past was trying to protect. If the old rule said, never waste anything, the new understanding may become, I use resources with care and without fear. If the old rule said, never depend on anyone, the new understanding may become, I choose support with discernment. If the old rule said, work until the task is done, the new understanding may become, I value effort and protect my capacity. If the old rule said, do not want too much, the new understanding may become, I consider my needs honestly and make responsible choices. If the old rule said, prepare for the worst, the new understanding may become, I prepare wisely and remain present for what is going well. The old sentence does not have to be destroyed. It can be widened. A narrow rule leaves no room for circumstance. A mature principle can adapt. Care can adapt. Planning can adapt. Generosity can adapt. Ambition can adapt. Rest can adapt. You can become more flexible without becoming careless. You can become more open without becoming naive. You can become more confident without becoming arrogant. You can become more secure without becoming disconnected. You can become more visible without betraying where you began. The child in you may need to hear this more than once. The child may still believe that change will upset the people you love. The child may still believe that comfort attracts danger. The child may still believe that being well supported means someone else must go without. The child may still believe that every gain will be followed by loss. You can answer with patience. There is room for responsibility and relief. There is room for love and difference. There is room for memory and change. There is room for caution and hope. There is room for roots and growth. You do not have to choose between honoring your history and building a healthier future. You can do both. You honor history by seeing it clearly. You honor yourself by refusing to let pain become the only tradition you carry forward. Some traditions deserve preservation. Some deserve healing. Some deserve to end with you. The ending does not need to be dramatic. It may look like speaking differently in your home. It may look like teaching a child that limits are temporary facts, not signs of unworthiness. It may look like discussing decisions without humiliation. It may look like apologizing after fear made you harsh. It may look like showing that a mistake can be corrected. It may look like letting another person see you ask for guidance. It may look like celebrating progress without pretending every problem is solved. This is how new messages are installed, through tone, through repetition, through behavior, through repair. Through the atmosphere you create around ordinary decisions, you are not only releasing what was handed to you, you are choosing what will be handed forward. You can pass on care without panic. You can pass on responsibility without shame. You can pass on generosity with boundaries. You can pass on ambition without contempt. You can pass on gratitude without guilt. You can pass on honesty without fear. This is a form of prosperity that begins before any outer result. It is the ability to meet life with greater clarity. It is the ability to remain worthy in your own eyes during difficulty. It is the ability to make a decision without turning it into a judgment of your entire life. It is the ability to learn without humiliation. It is the ability to receive useful support and keep your dignity. It is the ability to hold hope without denying facts. These capacities change what becomes possible downstream. They change the conversations you are willing to have. They change the questions you are willing to ask. They change the opportunities you are willing to consider. They change how quickly you recover from disappointment. They change how you speak. Act to yourself when plans need adjustment. The old lesson may have been learned early. It does not have to remain final. It was written in a younger mind. It can be revised by the person you are now. Not erased, revised, not denied, understood, not judged, outgrown. You are not betraying the past by becoming more peaceful than the people who raised you. You are showing that their effort created the possibility of another way. You are not rejecting their survival. You are letting survival become a foundation rather than a permanent ceiling. You are not saying they should have known everything. You are saying you are willing to learn what was not available then. This is a compassionate continuation. This is how a family story changes. One person becomes conscious of the sentence. One person stops repeating it automatically. One person creates a different response. One person makes room for a new meaning. Today, that person can be you. An inner rule does not control your life through magic. It influences what you pay attention to. It influences what you expect. It influences which choices feel available. It influences how long you remain present when discomfort appears. It influences whether you interpret a challenge as information or as proof that you were never capable. This is why changing the way you speak to yourself can matter. Not because a sentence creates an external result by itself, because a sentence can alter the position from which you respond. Consider what happens when the inner expectation is something always goes wrong. Your attention begins searching for evidence. A delayed reply feels like rejection. A slow week feels like collapse. An unexpected cost feels like confirmation that security never lasts. A mistake feels larger than it is because the mind has already placed it inside an old conclusion. You may overlook what is stable because stability does not match the expectation. You may dismiss progress as temporary. You may fail to record what is working. You may prepare for 10 unlikely problems while neglecting the one useful action available now. The expectation narrows perception. This does not mean you imagine the difficulty. It means the difficulty may receive more mental weight than the support around it. The mind is constantly sorting information. It cannot hold every detail with equal attention. It highlights what seems important for survival, identity, and belonging. If your early experience taught you that safety disappears quickly, signs of possible loss may feel urgent. Signs of steadiness may feel less believable. Your attention can become trained to detect threat faster than support. That training was useful in uncertain environments. It may now create exhaustion. You can begin retraining attention without denying risk. You can ask what is true right now. You can ask what has been handled. You can ask what requires action today. You can ask, what am I predicting without evidence? You can ask, what support is available that I have not considered? These questions do not guarantee an easy answer. They widen the field. A wider field helps you make a more accurate choice. When the old rule is, I cannot trust myself, every decision may become a trial. You may gather information long after you have enough. You may ask many people what they would do. You may feel temporary relief when someone chooses for you, then resentment when the choice does not fit. You may return repeatedly to a decision already made. You may search for certainty that no decision can provide. You may believe hesitation proves wisdom. Sometimes hesitation is thoughtful. Sometimes it is fear postponing responsibility. Self-trust is not the belief that you will always choose perfectly. It is the knowledge that you can participate honestly in the choice, respond to new information, and repair what needs repair. A trustworthy person is not a person who never makes an error. A trustworthy person is willing to look clearly after an error. They do not abandon themselves. They do not hide indefinitely. They do not turn one poor result into a permanent identity. They learn. They adjust. They continue. You can practice this form of trust. You can begin with smaller choices. You can decide what information matters. You can name the trade-off. You can choose a reasonable next step. You can review the result without cruelty. Each time you do this, you teach yourself that a decision is not a courtroom where your worth is judged. It is a place where judgment, values, information, and uncertainty meet. No one removes uncertainty completely. Confidence grows when you discover that uncertainty can be carried. The old story may also influence what you ask for. If the expectation is, "My needs inconvenience people," you may reduce your request before speaking. You may provide so many explanations that the request loses clarity. You may apologize before anyone responds. You may offer an easy way for the other person to ignore you. Your words may say, "It is no problem if you cannot." Your tone may say, "Please do not think badly of me for asking." The other person may then miss the importance of what you need. When the request is not met, the old story says, "See, asking does not work." Yet the request may never have been made plainly. This is not blame. It is an invitation to become more direct. A clear request can sound respectful without becoming small. You can say what you need. You can give relevant context. You can name a reasonable time frame. You can let the other person answer. You do not have to control their answer by making your need disappear. Their response gives you information. A yes gives you one kind of information. A no gives you another. A delay, condition, or alternative so gives information. Clarity lets you respond to reality rather than to imagined rejection. The inner rule may shape your work as well. When you expect that your contribution will not be valued, you may stop bringing ideas forward. You may wait until every detail is perfect. You may let louder people receive credit for work you helped create. You may assume a new responsibility without discussing what it requires. You may believe being easy to manage is the safest path. This can create an unfair cycle. Because your effort remains invisible, recognition remains limited. Because recognition remains limited, the old expectation feels confirmed. The cycle does not prove that your contribution lacks value. It shows how an expectation can influence behavior that affects what others are able to see. You do not need to become boastful. You can become accurate. You can document what you completed. You can explain the result. You can name your role without minimizing it. You can ask how responsibilities are being evaluated. You can have a respectful conversation about changing expectations. Accuracy is not arrogance. It is a refusal to disappear from your own work. The same mechanics can appear when an opportunity is available. You may see a role, project, collaboration, course, or application, and immediately search for the one requirement you do not meet. You may ignore the experience you do have. You may imagine that everyone else is more prepared. You may decide not to try, protecting yourself from visible rejection. The rejection never occurs. Neither does the opportunity. The old rule then says, "Nothing changes for people like me." Yet part of what prevented change was not a lack of ability. It was the decision to remove yourself before anyone else could consider you. This does not mean every opportunity should be pursued. Discernment still matters. Time matters. Energy matters. Fit matters. The question is whether the decision is being made from clear evaluation or from a reflexive conclusion about your place. You can ask, Am I choosing no because this does not fit, or because being considered feels unsafe? You can ask, what would I advise someone I respect who had my experience? You can ask, is one missing skill a permanent barrier or something that can be learned? You can ask, what is the smallest honest step toward finding out? A different inner sentence does not force a yes. It makes a real evaluation possible. It returns choice. This is the practical value of a healthier inner foundation. It restores options that fear removed before they could be examined. Old expectations can also affect how you respond to setbacks. Suppose you make a plan and something interrupts it. The old story may say, I knew this would fail. That sentence collapses a specific interruption into a final judgment. Once the mind treats the plan as failed, you may stop adjusting. You may avoid looking at what remains possible. You may criticize yourself until your energy is spent. A more useful response might be, this changed the plan, and I can review what comes next. That sentence does not deny disappointment. It keeps the situation open. You can assess what happened. You can decide what must change. You can ask for support. You can reduce the size of the next step. You can create a new time frame. You can learn from the interruption without turning it into destiny. Language shapes the size of the room you believe you are standing in. I have no options closes the room. I do not yet see a good option invites a search. I ruined everything closes the room. This choice had consequences, and I need to respond opens it. I am terrible at this closes the room. I need a better process opens it. Nothing ever works closes the room. This approach did not work as expected opens it. The wider sentence is not artificially positive. It is more precise. Precision reduces unnecessary shame. Shame often makes action harder. It pulls attention toward identity rather than response. Instead of asking what needs correction, you begin arguing with yourself about whether you are a good person. Instead of gathering information, you replay how you should have known better. Instead of making one repair, you mentally punish yourself as though punishment were the same as responsibility. They are not the same. Responsibility moves. Punishment circles. Responsibility identifies the issue. Punishment attacks the person. Responsibility asks what can be learned. Punishment insists suffering proves remorse. You can care deeply about consequences without harming yourself internally. You can say, I wish I had chosen differently. You can say, I understand what influenced me. You can say, I will take the next corrective step. You can say, I do not need to hate myself to become more capable. This approach preserves the energy required for repair. It also changes how courage grows. Courage is rarely a permanent feeling that arrives before action. More often, it is a relationship with discomfort. You discover that discomfort can be present while you remain clear. You discover that another person's reaction can be unpleasant without destroying you. You discover that uncertainty can rise and fall while you continue breathing. Each experience updates the old rule. You ask a question and survive not knowing how it will be received. You state a boundary and discover that discomfort is temporary. You review a difficult fact and find that knowing is more useful than imagining. You seek guidance and learn that not knowing does not make you inferior. You make a thoughtful request and let the answer belong to the other person. These moments build evidence. The mind changes more easily when new words are joined by new evidence. This is why the practice cannot remain only verbal. Words create direction. Action creates proof. Reflection helps the proof register. Suppose you repeat, "I am learning to treat myself with respect." Later you pause before insulting yourself after a mistake. That pause is evidence. Suppose you repeat, "I can ask clearly for what I need." Later you send one direct message instead of waiting in resentment. That message is evidence. Suppose you repeat, "I can look at the facts without abandoning myself." Later you review something you have avoided for weeks. That review is evidence. The sentence and the action strengthen one another. Over time, the new response becomes less unusual. You do not have to feel inspired while practicing it. You only need to recognize the moment. Old patterns often operate quickly. A trigger appears. The body tightens. The conclusion arrives. The behavior follows. You may not realize a choice occurred. Practice creates a small pause between these parts. The trigger appears. The body tightens. You recognize the familiar reaction. You breathe. You ask what is true. You choose a response. The pause may be only a few seconds. Those seconds are powerful. They interrupt automatic repetition. They give the adult mind time to enter. At first, the pause may come after the behavior. You may undercharge and realize later that fear influenced you. You may refuse help and recognize afterward that the offer was respectful. You may criticize yourself for a purchase, then remember that it was planned and appropriate. This delayed awareness still matters. You can review without shaming yourself. You can ask what you would like to do next time. You can prepare a sentence. You can decide what signal will remind you. The next time, awareness may arrive sooner. Learning often moves this way: after, during, before. The mind becomes more familiar with the turning point. You may wonder how long this takes. There is no honest universal answer. Some responses soften quickly. Others are connected to deeper experiences and require more time, support, or professional care. The goal is not to achieve a flawless inner state. The goal is to reduce the authority of patterns that no longer serve you. Progress may appear as less intensity, a shorter recovery, a clearer request, one less apology, a decision reviewed once instead of 20 times, a moment of rest without immediate guilt, a willingness to seek help earlier, a greater ability to separate facts from fear. These changes may seem modest. They alter the direction of daily life. A person who recovers more quickly has more energy for the next step. A person who asks clearly receives clearer information. A person who can tolerate seeing the facts can respond before pressure grows. A person who recognizes their contribution can make more informed choices about work. A person who stops equating struggle with virtue may protect their health and capacity. Downstream changes begin with these shifts. Not all results are under personal control. Your response still matters. The inner story can also influence what you interpret as possible. When an option has never existed in your family or community, it may not enter your imagination easily. You may not reject it consciously. You may never see it as relevant to you. Someone else may hear about a training opportunity and think, I should learn more. You may hear the same information and think, that is for people who already know what they are doing. Someone else may be introduced to a helpful person and think, I can ask one question. You may think, I should not take their time. Someone else may receive constructive feedback and think, this shows me what to improve. You may hear, you do not belong here. The event is the same. The meaning changes the response. Changing meaning does not guarantee the same outcome for everyone. It makes participation more possible. You are allowed to participate. You are allowed to ask. You are allowed to learn in public. You are allowed to be new. You are allowed to take up appropriate space before you feel entirely certain. You are allowed to become more capable through experience rather than before it. The old rule may demand proof that you belong before you enter. Belonging often develops through entering, learning, contributing, and staying present. You do not have to know everything at the threshold. You need enough readiness for the next step. The rest can be learned. This is one reason bridge language is effective. A sentence such as, I am becoming more comfortable with clear decisions, does not require you to claim complete mastery. It acknowledges movement. A sentence such as, I am learning to recognize respectful support gives your mind a task. A sentence such as, I can practice receiving without immediate guilt creates room for imperfect experience. The words do not demand that the old reaction disappear. They establish a new direction beside it. The nervous system often responds better to credible expansion than to force. If you tell yourself something that feels entirely impossible, resistance may consume all attention. You begin debating the sentence rather than practicing it. A bridge avoids that battle. It is honest enough to enter. It is hopeful enough to lead. It says, I am learning. It says, I am willing. It says, I can practice. It says, I am becoming. It says, I can take one step. These phrases respect process. They also restore agency. Willingness is available before confidence. Practice is available before mastery. One step is available before the whole path is known. The old pattern may still demand dramatic proof. It may say, Show me that everything will work out. You cannot honestly provide that proof. You can offer another kind. You can say, I have handled difficult moments before. You can say, I can seek information. You can say, I can change direction. You can say, I can ask for appropriate support. You can say, I can remain on my own side while I respond. This is durable reassurance. It does not depend on predicting the future. It depends on the relationship you are building with yourself. That relationship affects more than your thoughts. It affects whether you hide from problems. It affects whether you recover after disappointment. It affects whether you treat yourself as a partner or an enemy. A person who feels internally attacked may avoid any situation that could trigger more attack. A person who knows they will respond with honesty and care can face more information. This is why self-kindness is practical. It increases your capacity to remain present. Kindness does not mean approving every choice. It means correction without humiliation. It means truth without contempt. It means holding yourself accountable without withdrawing your humanity. You may have been taught that harshness creates discipline. Harshness can create urgency. It can also create secrecy, fear, avoidance, and exhaustion. Steady accountability is different. It says, this matters. It says, look clearly. It says, take responsibility. It also says, you remain worthy while doing so. The combination of dignity and truth is strong. It helps you see more. It helps you stay longer. It helps you return when you have avoided. You may need to return many times. There is no shame in repetition. Old pathways were repeated for years. New ones become reliable through use. You do not fail because the familiar response appears again. The important question is what happens next. Do you identify it? Do you pause? Do you offer a wider sentence? Do you choose one action aligned with the person you are becoming? That is the practice. The practice is not glamorous. It may occur while opening an ordinary message. It may occur while comparing two prices. It may occur while deciding whether to ask a question. It may occur while sitting alone after making a mistake. It may occur when someone offers to help carry a burden. It may occur when you receive appreciation and feel the urge to deflect. These moments are the ground of change. They are small openings. From the surface, they may seem unremarkable. A pause, a breath, a sentence, a question, a different answer. Yet an ordinary opening can lead somewhere much deeper than the surface suggests. There are places where the ground appears plain and dry. The stone gives little away. The opening in the limestone may look modest, almost easy to miss. There may be no grand entrance. No wide river announces what lies below. No shining surface stretches across the land to prove that water is near. There is only an opening. Then the eye adjusts. The stone falls away. Beneath the ordinary ground rests a clear pool of turquoise depth. The water did not become present when it was discovered. It was already there. protected below the surface, held in the earth, quietly gathered beyond immediate sight. The opening did not create the reserve. It revealed access to it. Your capacity can feel like this. From the surface, you may see only the familiar habits, the hesitation, the tension, the guilt, the tendency to make yourself smaller. You may assume these visible reactions describe the whole of you. They do not. They are the surface around an opening. Beneath them, there are capacities you may not have learned to trust: discernment, adaptability, patience, the ability to learn, the ability to recover, the ability to ask, the ability to create a respectful boundary, the ability to remain present with information that once frightened you. These capacities may have been hidden by old fear. Hidden does not mean absent. A reserve can exist before you know how to reach it. The plainness of the opening matters. You may expect healing to arrive through a dramatic revelation. You may wait for a day when you feel completely transformed. You may think progress must be obvious, emotional, and immediate to be real. Often the entrance is ordinary. You decide not to apologize for a fair request. You open what you have been avoiding. You let a compliment remain unanswered by self-criticism. You ask for an explanation instead of pretending to understand. You keep one promise to yourself. The action looks small. The depth it touches may be immense. The opening may be a sentence you can finally believe. Not a sentence that claims you have arrived. A sentence that gives you access. A sentence that lets you lean closer without forcing certainty. A sentence that says there may be more strength beneath the old reaction than the old reaction has allowed you to see. The stone at the surface may be rough. The pool below remains clear. Your history may have created protective edges. Your deeper capacity is not ruined by them. Fear may have covered the entrance. It did not empty the reserve. Shame may have made you turn away. It did not remove what waits beneath. You are not trying to manufacture a new self from nothing. You are learning to reach qualities that have been present, sometimes unnoticed, throughout your life. You have already adapted. You have already learned. You have already survived uncertainty. You have already made choices with limited information. You have already helped yourself begin again. The evidence may not look dramatic because it has become ordinary to you. What you call normal may contain strength you have never counted. The way you kept going, the way you found another approach, the way you protected someone, the way you learned without instruction, the way you remained thoughtful after disappointment, and the way you recognized that an old rule was hurting you. These are signs of depth. The surface story may say, "I am only afraid." The deeper truth may be, "I am afraid, and I am still capable of learning another response." The surface story may say, "I have always been this way." The deeper truth may be, "I have practiced this way for a long time, and practice can change." The surface story may say, "I do not have what I need." The deeper truth may be, "I may have capacities I have not yet learned to access consistently." This is not a promise that every external need is already solved. It is an acknowledgement that your inner resources are larger than the most visible reaction. The pool beneath the stone is reached by approaching the opening. You cannot stand far away and demand proof of its depth. You move closer. You look. You let your eyes adjust. You discover what the surface concealed. The same is true in practice. You approach the difficult conversation. You ask the honest question. You sit with the information. You speak the bridge sentence. You take one responsible step. Then your eyes adjust. You begin to see that discomfort does not equal incapacity. You begin to see that uncertainty does not erase choice. You begin to see that an old reaction can rise while a new response is still available. You begin to see the reserve, not all at once, enough for the next step. That is how access grows. A plain opening, a deeper view, a clearer response. A life no longer defined only by its surface. The opening in the stone does not ask you to believe in the whole depth at once. It asks only that you come close enough to look. At first, you may still see mostly shadow. The surface light reaches down, but not everywhere. The edges remain dark. The water below is clear, yet the depth cannot be measured in a single glance. Your eyes need time. Your body needs time. Trust grows as you remain near what once seemed unfamiliar. This is how an inner reserve becomes known. You do not prove it by making one grand declaration. You discover it through contact. You discover it when you stay with a difficult feeling for 10 seconds longer than before. You discover it when you ask a question instead of assuming the answer will hurt. You discover it when you look at one fact without turning it into a judgment about your future. You discover it when you choose a measured response while the old alarm is still active. The depth becomes real because you begin drawing from it. You may have spent years standing near the opening without knowing what was beneath you. You may have mistaken the hard surface for the whole landscape. You may have thought the tension you could see was all you had. You may have assumed that because fear appeared quickly, fear was your deepest truth. Fear can be close to the surface. That does not make it deepest. A protective reaction often arrives first. T, because it has been trained to arrive first. It moves quickly. It speaks loudly. It tries to finish the story before you have gathered the present facts. The deeper response may arrive more quietly. It may say, pause. It may say, look again. It may say, you do not have to decide this second. It may say, there is more information available. It may say, you have choices now that you did not have then. The quiet response may initially seem weak because it does not shout. Its strength is shown by what it helps you do. It helps you remain. It helps you think. It helps you speak clearly. It helps you choose without abandoning yourself. It helps you return after avoidance. The loud reaction may feel powerful because it creates urgency. The deeper response is powerful because it creates capacity. Capacity is not dramatic. It is what lets you meet reality without collapsing into the oldest conclusion. Imagine standing at the edge of that clear pool. The limestone around it looks ordinary. It has endured heat, wind, seasons, and passing feet. Nothing on the outer surface announces the turquoise water below. The opening seems almost too plain to contain such depth. Then you look down. The color changes everything. What appeared empty is not empty. What appeared dry is connected to a hidden reserve. What appeared limited from above opens into more than the surface revealed. The lesson is not that everything you need will appear without effort. The lesson is that visible fear is not a complete measurement of your inner capacity. You may have been measuring yourself by the surface, by how anxious you feel before a conversation, by how quickly guilt appears, by how often you hesitate, by how strongly you want reassurance, by how difficult it is to trust a new sentence. These reactions are real. They are not the whole of you. A surface reaction tells you what has been practiced. It does not define what can be developed. You can feel anxious and still prepare well. You can feel guilty and still make a responsible choice. You can hesitate and still move. You can want reassurance and still gather your own information. You can doubt a kinder sentence and still practice it. The presence of resistance does not erase the reserve beneath it. Resistance may be the stone around the opening. It shows where the entrance is. When a new statement touches an old wound, the mind may tighten because the statement approaches a place that has been guarded. The tightening says, we have not traveled this way often. It does not always say, this way is false. You can answer resistance with respect. You can say, I understand why this feels unfamiliar. You can say, I will not force you. You can say, we can move one step at a time. You can say, we are not pretending the past did not happen. You can say, we are learning that the past is not the only source of truth. The minute softens when it is not being dragged. You do not have to overpower the old story. You can outgrow it through repeated experience. You can give the new sentence evidence. You can give it behavior. You can give it time. The core sentence for this turning point is not a promise of instant ease. It does not claim that every concern has vanished. It does not deny the situations that require real attention. It names the deeper movement. Listen to it without demanding that every part of you agree immediately. I uncover steady reserves beneath inherited fear. Let the sentence remain simple. Do not rush to prove it. You are not saying that fear is imaginary. You are saying it is not the deepest layer. You are saying that steadiness may exist before you feel fully steady. You are saying that strength can be uncovered through use. You are saying that what was inherited does not have to remain in command. If the full sentence feels distant, place a softer beginning before it. I am willing to discover what fear has hidden. That may be enough for today. Willingness creates an opening. It does not require certainty. It does not require performance. It asks only that you stop treating the first reaction as the final answer. You can repeat the core sentence again, this time as a direction rather than a finished fact. I uncover steady reserves beneath inherited fear. Perhaps only one word feels believable. Steady. Perhaps only one idea feels possible. Beneath. Perhaps the sentence gives you no emotional response at all. That is still acceptable. A practice does not have to feel dramatic to be useful. Some words work quietly. They create a new pathway before they create a new feeling. They become available later in the exact moment you need another response. You may be about to apologize unnecessarily, and the word steady returns. You may be preparing to avoid a conversation, and the word uncover returns. You may feel an inherited warning rise, and the word beneath returns. A single word can interrupt an old sequence. It can remind you that more is present than what appears first. You can repeat the sentence a third time with no pressure to believe it perfectly. I uncover steady reserves beneath inherited fear. Now let the meaning unfold through your own experience. The reserve may be your ability to pause. It may be your ability to ask for clear terms. It may be your ability to say, I need time to consider this. It may be your ability to seek qualified guidance. It may be your ability to return to a task you avoided. It may be your ability to tolerate someone else's disappointment. It may be your ability to separate a difficult condition from your worth. The reserve is not one mysterious quality. It is a collection of capacities that become more visible through practice. You may already be using them without giving yourself credit. Every time you review a situation instead of running from it, you draw from the reserve. Every time you learn a new skill, you draw from it. Every time you ask a direct question, you draw from it. Every time you keep a respectful boundary, you draw from it. Every time you recover from self-criticism more quickly, you draw from it. The pool is not diminished by being approached. Your inner capacity is strengthened through responsible use. This is different from forcing yourself beyond your limits. A reserve is not an excuse for depletion. It is not a command to take on more than is healthy. It is not a reason to ignore rest, support, or practical limits. True steadiness includes knowing when to pause. It includes knowing when the situation requires help. It includes recognizing when an old pattern is too painful or persistent to carry alone. There is courage in self-support. There is also courage in appropriate professional support. You do not prove strength by refusing every hand. You do not prove maturity by having no needs. You do not prove worth by exhausting yourself. The reserve beneath fear includes discernment. It helps you ask, what belongs to me? What belongs to someone else? What can be handled today? What requires more information? What needs a boundary? What needs patience? What needs trained guidance? These questions keep inner work connected to reality. A soothing sentence is most helpful when it supports a clearer life. It should not become a curtain pulled across a serious issue. It should help you face the issue with less shame and more presence. You may find that inherited fear has influenced the way you interpret responsibility. Responsibility may have come to mean carrying everything. It may have come to mean anticipating every problem. It may have come to mean never needing assistance. It may have come to mean making no mistakes. That is not responsibility. That is impossible control. Healthy responsibility is more grounded. It means looking at what is yours. It means acting on what you know. It means seeking information when you do not know. It means correcting when needed. It means recognizing the limits of your control. You can be responsible without being all-powerful. You can care without predicting every outcome. You can prepare without living in permanent alarm. The child in you may not understand these distinctions yet. That child may believe that if you relax, something will be missed. It may believe that if you stop worrying, you will become careless. It may believe anxiety is the force keeping life together. You can answer with experience. You can show that a calm review can be more accurate than a panicked one. You can show that rest can improve judgment. You can show that asking early can prevent larger confusion. You can show that a clear boundary can protect relationships from resentment. You can show that worry and care are not the same. Care moves toward what is useful. Worry often circles what cannot be controlled. Care gathers information. Worry imagines endless versions of loss. Care acts. Worry repeats. You do not have to shame the worried part. You can give it a task. Ask it to help identify the next practical question. Ask it to help write down what needs attention. Ask it to help prepare for one conversation. Ask it to stop once the useful action is complete. This turns nervous energy into directed support. The old pattern may resist stopping. It may insist that continued tension proves commitment. You can remind yourself that suffering is not evidence of seriousness. A thoughtful action is evidence. A clear plan is evidence. A respectful limit is evidence. Seeking help is evidence. Returning after avoidance is evidence. You do not have to remain distressed to prove that something matters. You may also have learned that hope is dangerous. Hope may have been followed by disappointment. You may have watched adults become excited and then struggle. You may have decided that expecting less would protect you. Lower expectations can reduce the shock of disappointment. They can also reduce participation. They can make you turn away before reality has a chance to answer. A balanced hope does not insist on a guaranteed result. It says, I am willing to explore what is possible. It says, I can prepare and still remain open. It says, I can want something without making my worth depend on it. It says, I can recover if the answer is no. This kind of hope is steady. It does not deny uncertainty. It is not built on prediction. It is built on your growing ability to meet what comes. That ability is part of the reserve. You are not asking the future to promise that nothing difficult will happen. You are building confidence that difficulty does not erase your capacity. This is a more honest form of security. External conditions change. Plans shift. People respond in ways you cannot control. Security cannot come only from making the outer world perfectly predictable. Some of it must come from knowing how you will stand beside yourself. Will you listen before attacking yourself? Will you look at the facts? Will you ask what can be done? Will you seek support when needed? Will you remember that one event is not your identity? Will you make room for recovery? Each yes deepens trust. You may not answer yes every time. Trust is not destroyed by imperfection. It grows when you return. You may lose your balance in an old reaction. Then return. You may delay a needed action. Then return. You may speak harshly to yourself. Then return. You may refuse support out of fear. Then reconsider. The ability to return is one of your strongest reserves. The old story may say that progress has been ruined. The deeper response says, begin from here. You are always beginning from here, not from the version of yesterday you wish had been different, not from the imagined future where you have no fear. From here, from this breath, from this information, from this next choice. The opening in the stone is here. It does not move farther away because you hesitated. It remains. You can approach it again. You can look again. You can let your eyes adjust again. There is no shame in needing repeated contact. Depth is not understood through one glance. You may learn one lesson near the surface and another much later. At first, you may discover that you can survive a clear conversation. Later, you may discover that you can initiate one. At first, you may learn to accept a compliment without rejecting it. Later, you may learn to name your contribution without being asked. At first, you may learn to review an obligation without panic. Later, you may build a steady routine around it. At first, you may learn that support can be safe. Later, you may become someone who offers and accepts support with healthy limits. The reserve becomes part of daily life, not through spectacle, through use, through repetition, through honest correction. The old feeling may continue to say, "This is not who you are." You can answer, It may not be who I practiced being. That is different. You are not fixed to the emotional habits formed when you had fewer choices. You are not obligated to keep proving an early conclusion. You can learn another relationship with responsibility, support, effort, and worth. You can learn that fair exchange does not make you greedy. You can learn that rest does not make you careless. You can learn that accepting help does not make you weak. You can learn that clear information does not have the power to shame you. You can learn that wanting a more stable life does not dishonor anyone. Learning does not erase where you came from. It changes what you carry forward. You may still carry caution. Let it become wise caution. You may still carry discipline. Let it include recovery. You may still carry generosity. Let it include limits. You may still carry loyalty. Let it include loyalty to your own well-being. You may still carry memory. Let memory become context rather than command. The stone remains part of the landscape. The hidden pool does not require the stone to disappear. Your history remains part of you. Healing does not require you to become someone without a past. It lets the past stop blocking access to your deeper capacities. The opening is created where the surface gives way. This may be why discomfort appears when the old rule begins to loosen. The surface identity says, I am the one who always worries. The deeper capacity says, I can become the one who checks and then rests. The surface identity says, I am the one who does everything alone. The deeper capacity says, I can choose support carefully. The surface identity says, I cannot ask for more. The deeper capacity says, I can state what is fair and let reality respond. The surface identity says, I will never feel safe. The deeper capacity says, I can build moments of steadiness and expand them. You do not have to replace one rigid identity with another. You are not required to become fearless, endlessly confident, or perfectly calm. You are becoming more flexible. You are becoming more responsive. You are becoming less governed by the first alarm. Flexibility is strength. It lets you bend without disappearing. It lets you revise without calling yourself a failure. It lets you receive information that challenges the old story. You may begin to notice moments when life does not match the inherited warning. Someone helps without controlling you. A direct request is received respectfully. A mistake is corrected without catastrophe. A plan changes and remains workable. A period of calm does not lead to punishment. These moments deserve to be registered. The old mind may dismiss them because they do not fit the rule. Pause long enough to let them count. Say, this is new evidence. Say, I want my mind to remember this too. The memory of safety must be given attention if it is to become available later. Pain often records itself automatically. Steadiness may need to be acknowledged deliberately. You can help it register. You can name what went well. You can record one calm decision. You can remember one supportive response. You can let a peaceful moment last without immediately searching for what might interrupt it. This is not naivety. It is balanced learning. You are teaching the mind that difficulty is real and support is also real. That caution has value and openness has value. That the surface may be hard while depth remains clear. Return once more to the sentence, not as a demand, as a companion. I uncover steady reserves beneath inherited fear. Let it mean that you are willing to look beneath the first reaction. Let it mean that you are willing to count your capacity. Let it mean that you are willing to choose one action from steadiness. The sentence does not have to carry the whole healing. It only has to open the way. A plain opening, a clear depth, a reserve waiting to be known. You do not become safer by rejecting every form of support. You become safer by learning which support is respectful, clear, and appropriate. For a long time, you may have treated refusal as proof of strength. You may have believed that needing nothing protected you from disappointment. You may have believed that accepting help would place you beneath someone, bind you to them, or expose a part of you that should remain hidden. This made sense if support once came with conditions. It made sense if generosity was later used as leverage. It made sense if someone reminded you of what they had done every time you tried to set a boundary. It made sense if accepting anything meant surrendering choice. Your caution had a reason. You can respect the reason without applying it to every person, every offer, and every situation. Not all help is the same. Some help is intrusive. Some help is controlling. Some help is offered so the giver can feel powerful. Some help is careless and creates more difficulty. Some help is honest. Some help is mutual. Some help is given freely within clear limits. Some help protects your time, health, or ability to respond well. Maturity is not automatic acceptance. It is not automatic refusal. It is discernment. You can ask what is being offered. You can ask what is expected. You can ask whether you have the freedom to decline. You can ask whether the arrangement is clear. You can ask whether accepting supports your values and responsibilities. A respectful offer can survive a clear question. A healthy relationship can survive a boundary. You are not ungrateful for wanting clarity. Clarity protects dignity on both sides. You may have learned to accept only when you can immediately repay. If someone gives you time, you rush to give more time back. If someone recommends you, you search for a way to return the favor before you have even used the opportunity. If someone supports you emotionally, you feel responsible for becoming their support at any hour. Reciprocity can be beautiful. Compulsive repayment is different. It turns every kind gesture into pressure. It prevents a good moment from being felt because your mind is already calculating how to settle the account. Not every caring act creates a debt. Some people offer because they choose to. Some relationships are strengthened by the freedom to give at different times and in different ways. You may support someone later. You may support another person entirely. You may express sincere thanks and let that be enough. You may use what you have been given responsibly. That can be a form of respect. The guilt that follows support may not belong to the present. It may be an old warning. It may say, do not become dependent. It may say, do not owe anyone. It may say, do not let them see that you need something. You can answer with a more balanced truth. I can accept what is freely and clearly offered. I can remain responsible for my choices. I can keep my boundaries. I can express gratitude without surrendering myself. Receiving does not make you passive. A person can accept assistance and continue taking action. A person can use guidance and still think independently. A person can benefit from another's knowledge and remain accountable. A person can rest while a burden is briefly shared and return with more capacity. You do not lose dignity when you stop carrying what was never meant for one person alone. There may be shame around practical help. You may believe that responsible adults should understand everything without instruction. You may delay speaking with a qualified professional because you fear being judged for what you do not know. You may avoid asking about a contract, payment term, tax issue, debt concern, or planning question because you imagine the person will think you should have acted sooner. The fear of judgment can make a situation more difficult. A good professional should help clarify, not humiliate. You are permitted to ask about their qualifications, process, fees, and limits. You are permitted to seek another opinion. You are permitted to leave a conversation that feels coercive or disrespectful. You are permitted to say, I need this explained in plain language. Seeking informed guidance is not an admission that you have failed. It is one of the practical ways you protect your future choices. Affirmations can help you approach that step with less self-attack. They cannot replace the step. A steady sentence may help you make the appointment. It may help you open the records. It may help you prepare the questions. It may help you remain present while hearing an answer you wish were different. Then action carries the work forward. You may need a simple spending plan. You may need a conversation about shared responsibilities. You may need to ask for revised terms. You may need to learn a skill you were never taught. You may need to speak with someone trained for the situation. You may need to reduce an expense, change a habit, request more information, or create a boundary around what you can provide to others. No affirmation removes the need for these choices. A healthier inner voice can make the choices more possible. It can help you replace, I am hopeless, with, I need a clearer process. It can help you replace, I should hide this, with, I need accurate information. It can help you replace, I have ruined everything, with, I need to understand the next responsible action. These shifts matter because shame often steals attention from the task. When you are busy proving that you are terrible, you have less energy to learn. When you are busy imagining everyone's judgment, you have less attention for details. When you are busy punishing yourself, you may delay the repair. Self-respect returns you to what can be done. You can look clearly without becoming cruel. You can admit a pattern without making it your identity. You can say, "This needs attention." You can also say, "I am still worthy of support while I address it." Worth is not a reward given only after perfect choices. Worth is the ground from which responsible choices become sustainable. You may fear that kindness toward yourself will make you careless. The opposite is often true. When your inner response is steady, you are more able to see. You do not need to hide from yourself. You do not need to create excuses. You do not need to avoid every uncomfortable number or conversation. You can remain close enough to reality to respond. The clear pool beneath the limestone does not become useful because someone stands at the edge praising its color. It becomes useful when approached with care. The entrance must be respected. The depth must be understood. The water is clear, but the edge still asks for attention. Your inner reserve works the same way. You honor it through wise use. You do not use new confidence to ignore limits. You do not use openness to trust everyone. You do not use self-worth to avoid accountability. You do not use hope to make promises you cannot keep. You use steadiness to look more clearly. You use dignity to ask better questions. You use compassion to stay present during correction. You use courage to take one honest step. This is receiving without guilt and acting without punishment. Both belong together. You may receive information. You may receive encouragement. You may receive a fair opportunity. You may receive appropriate help. You may receive appreciation. You may receive time to consider. You may be offered a second chance. Each form of support asks for a different response. Some ask for gratitude. Some ask for careful evaluation. Some ask for a boundary. Some ask for action. Some ask only that you stop pushing them away. You can learn which is which. The old story may tell you that accepting something good means you are taking it away from someone else. This may come from years of seeing limited resources divided under pressure. You may have learned that one person's comfort required another person's sacrifice. You may then feel uneasy whenever your life becomes easier. You can honor fairness without rejecting all benefit. You can ask whether the situation is ethical. You can ask whether the exchange is clear. You can ask whether your choice harms someone. When the answer is no, you do not need to create harm inside yourself through guilt. Your discomfort does not improve another person's condition. Your deprivation does not automatically create justice. You can care about inequity and still accept what is honestly yours. You can contribute where it is appropriate without turning your entire life into repayment for being supported. There is a difference between generosity and self-erasure. Generosity has consent. Generosity has limits. Generosity considers what can be given without creating hidden resentment. Self-erasure says yes because no feels dangerous. It gives from fear. It hopes sacrifice will secure love. It may look noble while leaving you depleted and quietly angry. You are allowed to examine the reason behind your giving. Are you giving because you choose to? Are you giving because it fits your capacity? Are you giving because the support is useful and appropriate? Or are you giving because you fear what someone will think if you stop? A respectful no can protect the quality of your yes. You can say, I am not able to do that. You can say, I can help with this part. You can say, I need to consider my current responsibilities. You can say, I care and I cannot take this on. These sentences do not make you cold. They make your participation honest. The old rule may say that love is measured by how much you endure. A healthier rule says love can include truth. It can include limits. It can include mutual respect. It can include the freedom to decline. You do not have to become unavailable to everyone. You are becoming available by choice rather than by fear. This creates cleaner relationships. It reduces resentment. It lets others know where you truly stand. It also teaches the younger part of you that connection can survive honesty. You may feel guilt after setting a boundary. Do not treat the guilt as proof that the boundary was wrong. Guilt can appear whenever you stop performing an old role. If you have always been the one who fixes, pays, carries, listens, adjusts, or goes without, any change may feel like harm. The feeling may be a withdrawal from an identity. It may not be a moral warning. You can review the facts. Was the boundary clear? Was it respectful? Was it necessary? Did you communicate honestly? If the answer is yes, let the discomfort pass without reopening the decision immediately. You are teaching your body that a boundary is not abandonment. You may need to repeat the lesson many times. That is acceptable. The entrance to the clear depth may look ordinary each time you return. The stone does not need to transform into something grand. You approach, you look, you remember what is beneath. A boundary can be that opening. A question can be that opening. A plan can be that opening. A calm review can be that opening. These actions may seem too small to change an old pattern. Small does not mean shallow. The plain opening in the limestone leads to depth because it creates access. A clear request creates access to an honest answer. A written plan creates access to better awareness. A respectful conversation creates access to shared understanding. A moment of self-compassion creates access to correction without collapse. The action is modest. What it reaches can be profound. You may still want a dramatic sign that you have changed. Look instead for evidence in behavior. You pause before saying yes. You ask what is expected. You let someone help with one task. You review your commitments before offering more. You accept appreciation without reducing yourself. You make a responsible purchase and do not spend the rest of the day punishing yourself. You seek information before fear creates a conclusion. You protect your energy for what truly matters. These are signs. They may know to feel exciting. They are trustworthy. A stable life is often shaped by repeated ordinary choices. You do not need to make every choice perfectly. You need a process that helps you return. Ask what is true. Ask what is yours to do. Ask what support is appropriate. Ask what limit is needed. Ask what action follows. Then let the answer be enough for this moment. The old mind may demand that you solve the entire future. The present rarely requires that. It requires the next responsible response. You can take that response and review again later. This is not avoidance, it is proportion. You do not need to carry next month's full emotional weight today. You may need to prepare for it. Preparation is different from carrying it continuously. You can schedule the task. You can gather what is needed. You can ask for help. Then you can return to the present. The capacity to stop is part of responsible action. Without stopping, preparation becomes endless alarm. You may believe that remaining worried keeps you alert. It may actually reduce your ability to think. A pause can improve the next decision. Rest can support follow-through. Joy can coexist with unfinished responsibilities. You are allowed to experience a calm hour even when life is not completely settled. You are allowed to enjoy what has been handled. You are allowed to appreciate support without predicting its loss. You are allowed to feel relief before every problem is solved. Relief is not a contract with the future. It is a response to the present. Let it be present when it is available. The younger part of you may feel suspicious. It may scan for what could interrupt the calm. You can say, "We have done what can be done today." You can say, "The next step has a time." You can say, "Resting now does not erase responsibility." You can say, "I will return when action is needed." This builds a new form of trust. You keep the promise. You return. You do not avoid indefinitely. You also do not stay mentally trapped in the task all day. Trust grows because you show yourself that attention can be directed. The old pattern says either worry constantly or forget completely. The new practice creates a middle way. Attend, act, pause, return. This is steadiness. It is not perfection. You may still overthink. You may still offer too much. You may still refuse something useful. When you recognize it, do not turn recognition into another reason for shame. Review. Repair if needed. Prepare another response. Continue. The reserve beneath old fear includes your ability to learn from repetition. Each return makes the next return easier. Each honest boundary clarifies the next one. Each respectful acceptance makes support less threatening. Each practical action reduces the power of avoidance. You are building familiarity with another way of living. You may wish to keep one small part of this practice close. Tomorrow morning, before the day becomes crowded, return to the core sentence once. Save these words for that quiet moment, not as a demand to transform overnight, but as a reminder that the first feeling is not the full depth. I uncover steady reserves beneath inherited fear. Read it once. Breathe. Ask which reserve you need that day. Patience, clarity, discernment, courage, a boundary, a question. Let the answer lead to one real action. The practice becomes trustworthy when it meets life. You may need courage to open a message. You may need patience to wait before agreeing. You may need clarity to review a plan. You may need discernment to evaluate an offer. You may need a boundary to protect your capacity. You may need a question to replace an assumption. One reserve, one action. That is enough. You do not have to prove your transformation by taking on everything at once. Taking on too much may be another version of the old pattern. The mind may turn healing into a new performance. It may insist that you must now be perfectly confident, perfectly organized, perfectly open, and free of every old reaction. No. You are learning. You are practicing. You are becoming more available to yourself. There will be uneven days. There will be moments when inherited fear speaks first. The work is not lost. The pool beneath the stone remains clear, even when the surface is difficult to approach. Your capacity remains available even when you forget it for a while. You return through the ordinary opening, a breath, a fact, a question, a choice. You do not need to earn access through suffering. You do not need to become a different person before you are permitted to draw from your own strength. The depth belongs to the life already within you. You approach with respect. You take what supports the next step. You leave behind the demand to carry everything. This is how dignity is kept. This is how guilt begins to loosen. You accept what is honest. You decline what is not. You act where action belongs. You rest when the task is complete for now. You keep your values. You keep your boundaries. You keep your willingness to learn. Support does not reduce you. Clarity does not shame you. A fair exchange does not corrupt you. A responsible pleasure does not betray your history. A boundary does not erase love. A mistake does not cancel worth. You can hold these truths beside the old feeling until they become more familiar. You do not have to force them into certainty. Let experience teach. Let each respectful interaction add evidence. Let each practical choice deepen trust. Let each return reveal more of what was already there. The surface may remain plain. The opening may remain small. The depth is still real. You are learning to reach it without guilt. You have reached the place where the old warning no longer has to finish every sentence. It may still begin one. It may still rise quickly and tell you to tighten, delay, apologize, refuse, or prepare for loss. The difference is that another response is now available, a steadier response, one that does not deny difficulty, confuse fear with wisdom, or demand certainty before you move. You can return to this response many times. Repetition here is not pressure, it is return. You return to the present facts. You return to dignity. You return to one useful step. A child learned through repetition that asking could be dangerous. The adult can learn through experience that a clear request can be safe. A child learned that comfort might disappear. The adult can learn that one peaceful moment is still worth accepting. A child learned that support could create debt. The adult can ask what is expected and choose with discernment. You are not arguing with the younger part of you. You are giving it new evidence. Each time you look clearly without attacking yourself, you create evidence. Each time you let a reasonable choice remain made, you create evidence. Each time you ask before assuming the worst, you create evidence. Each time you accept appreciation without shrinking, you create evidence. The old story may remain present, but new evidence changes its authority. The dry surface no longer tells the whole truth once you have seen the turquoise below. On difficult days, you may forget the depth. Return without judgment. Look again. Ask what is available beneath the immediate fear. There may be patience. There may be a clear question. There may be a limit. There may be courage to wait for more information. There may be courage to act before certainty arrives. Your deeper capacity will not always give the same answer. Sometimes steadiness says yes. Sometimes it says no. Sometimes it says not yet. Sometimes it says ask for help. Sometimes it says stop for today. Inner safety is not constant comfort. It is the ability to remain connected to yourself while you consider what the moment requires. You can feel disappointed and remain connected. You can hear a no and remain connected. You can discover an error and remain connected. You can make a repair without turning against yourself. You may have thought confidence meant knowing that everything would work. A steadier confidence says, I can participate honestly in what happens next. You may have thought security meant never facing pressure. A steadier security says, I can look, learn, ask, plan, and adjust. You may have thought worth required proof. A steadier worth says, my humanity is not under review every time a choice has consequences. These are foundations for ordinary days. They support the message you need to open. They support the conversation you need to have. They support the pause after someone offers help. They support the evening when your mind starts rehearsing every possible problem. Bring the deeper sentence into these ordinary places. I uncover steady reserves beneath inherited fear. Let it accompany facts. Let it accompany action. Let it accompany qualified guidance when guidance is needed. Let it stand beside planning, asking, learning, and repair. The sentence does not replace any of them. It helps you remain on your own side while you do them. You can review something carefully without holding your breath. You can plan for a future need without mentally living inside a crisis. You can say no to one request and remain caring. You can say yes to appropriate support and keep independent judgment. The old pattern may call this selfish. Check the facts. Are you harming someone? Are you ignoring a real responsibility? Are you acting without honesty? When the answer is no, the feeling may be an echo rather than a verdict. An echo sounds convincing because it repeats. It is still an echo. The clear pool does not argue with the limestone. It rests beneath it. Its depth is not reduced by the hardness above. Your steadiness does not have to fight every frightened thought. It can remain present beneath the noise. Ask what is true now. Ask what belongs to you. Ask what the next responsible step is. Ask what can wait. Ask who is qualified to help. Ask which boundary protects clarity. These questions move you from inherited alarm toward present participation. Participation is not control. You do not control every answer, cost, reaction, or timing. You can still look honestly. You can ask. You can prepare. You can return after a mistake. You can choose the way you speak to yourself while responding. This is enough ground for meaningful change. You can begin from uncertainty. You can begin after delay. You can begin after a choice you regret. You can begin while the old feeling is present. The opening does not demand a perfect arrival. It asks that you approach. Let your body understand what your mind is practicing. Unclench the jaw that has held imagined conversations. Lower the shoulders that learned to carry tomorrow before it arrived. Let your hands rest for a moment. They do not have to solve anything in this breath. Feel the support beneath you. You are here. The present is holding your weight. The next task can remain where it belongs until its time arrives. You may have lived as though constant tension were preparation. Let this moment teach another possibility. You can prepare from a body that is not being punished. You can make a careful choice without tightening around it. You can care deeply and still breathe fully. Stay for one more breath. Show your body that pausing does not cause the ground to vanish. Show it that a quiet moment can end without disaster. Show it that you can relax briefly and return when action is required. Before opening a difficult statement, release one breath. Before replying to a request, lower your shoulders. Before naming a boundary, feel your feet. Before accepting support, ask the clear question. Before criticizing yourself, identify the next useful action. These are ordinary entrances to depth. You no longer have to use worry for every task. You no longer have to use guilt for every correction. You no longer have to use deprivation to prove responsibility. You can use information. You can use structure. You can use patience. You can use support. You can use rest. Time to think is a resource. The right question is a resource. A calm explanation is a resource. A trustworthy person is a resource. A clear no is a resource. A second attempt is a resource. Your willingness to learn is a resource. Your ability to return is a resource. You can acknowledge what is missing without declaring yourself empty. You can acknowledge pressure without declaring yourself powerless. You can acknowledge regret without declaring yourself ruined. Keep your language close to truth. This is difficult. I can still take one step. I wish this were different. I can still ask what is possible. I do not know yet. I can still seek reliable guidance. I feel the old fear. I can still choose from the present. You may grieve the years spent believing your needs were dangerous. You may grieve the opportunities you avoided or how often you confused exhaustion with worth. Let grief be honest without turning it into another accusation. You made choices with the protection available then. Now more is becoming available. Grief can stand beside growth. Regret can stand beside repair. Tenderness can stand beside responsibility. You carried more than a child should have carried. You developed strengths while carrying it. You are permitted to use those strengths for something other than survival now. Use awareness for choice. Use discipline for consistent care. Use sensitivity for discernment. Use resilience for recovery. Use loyalty for your values, not repeated pain. Now let the words become shorter. Let each line stand on its own. You do not have to force emotion. Let the believable lines enter first. I am safe enough to look. I meet facts with dignity. I can learn what I need. I ask clear questions. I welcome useful guidance. I keep healthy boundaries. I value fair exchange. I release inherited shame. Break time 2.0s. I choose present truth. I pause before reacting. I trust thoughtful steps. I let support be clear. I accept honest appreciation. I do not shrink my contribution. I recover from mistakes. I remain worthy while learning. I use resources with care. I release punishment. I practice steady responsibility. I say no with respect. I say yes with discernment. I let guilt pass. I honor my capacity. I protect my energy. I welcome calm decisions. I can handle one step. I do not need perfect certainty. I am open to better information. I make room for relief. I let today be today. I rest after action. I return without shame. I am learning another way. I carry wisdom forward. I leave old fear behind. I keep what strengthens me. I release what limits me. I can belong and grow. I can care and choose differently. I can prosper without betrayal. I can accept without surrender. I can give without disappearing. I can plan without panic. I can prepare and still live. I am not the old warning. I am more than the surface. My depth remains clear. My courage is available. My judgment is growing. My steadiness is real. I uncover my reserve. I trust the next step. I begin from here. Keep the line that creates space. Keep the line that makes one action possible. Keep the line that returns you to the present. A useful affirmation is not the loudest line. It is the line you can carry into a real moment. Take one line into the next decision. Let it slow the old sequence. Let it create 1 second of choice. That second can become a question. The question can become information. The information can become action. The action can become evidence. The evidence can become trust. This is how a new story enters daily life, not as a promise placed above reality, as a practice carried into reality. You can be grateful for survival and choose more than survival. You can respect the caution and choose more than caution. You can honor effort and choose more than exhaustion. The plain opening remains before you. Come close. Look down. Let your eyes adjust. The turquoise depth has been there beneath the ordinary surface. The reserve has been held quietly. You are learning how to reach it. One clear question, one respectful boundary, one accepted kindness, one practical step, one peaceful hour, one return. You are not required to finish healing today. You are only asked not to abandon the opening. I rise drawing calmly from hidden depth. Keep rising. Life is with you. The deepest truth in you is still clear.